Hello, my name is Zorz. I'm from Slovenia, and this will be a very short lightning talk. Basically, it's a question. But first, some history. In the past, we, as a working group, and we as the authors, removed one of the speed bumps in deployment with publication of RIPE 554. That's the specification for IPv6 requirements when you're ordering the equipment. This is now widely used by vendors and basically by lots of people that are buying the equipment. That was actually told to me by the operators and by some governments that they need. So we removed this speed bump. The second one was published in cooperation with the BCOP task force and IPv6 working group since the last meeting. It became RIPE 631. Why we did this? Because we heard from the operators that the next speed bump is that their help desks don't know anything about IPv6. So we put together the troubleshooting for the help desks. I also hear from the operators, many of them are implementing this in their help desk and also using the tool that comes with it. So this is now done, and my simple question to you is, what is your next speed bump? What do you think we should work on? What would you need to advance your IPv6 deployment to your residential customer and basically enable it by default? So please come to the mic. The more suggestions that we get, easier we can do something about it. Thank you.
Okay, Benedikt Stockebrand, Stateless IT, and here another working group chair. From what I've seen over the last, almost a year, where I do IPv6 deployment at an enterprise rather than ISP or content provider perspective, there's very, very little best practice from an enterprise point of view. Good news for me because some customer hired me to bring in some knowledge in there. But if we want more enterprises to actually get interested and then put demand create demand for the ISPs to provide IPv6, I think they are pretty important to take care of, even though they're not that strongly represented in the RIPE community. But that's, in my opinion, one of the things where things actually have to happen. Other thing is promote DS Lite. Because it's hurt so badly, and it sometimes even hurts, top managers with their home internet access, that they actually realize something has to happen somewhere.
Are you okay?
I'm dead. I am. I'm actually dead serious about that. For the last about year and a half, in pretty much every single training I've done on IPv6, I had somebody asking right in the first 5 minutes, do we also talk about DS Lite? Yes, sure. So what cable provider are you with? Well, it's either Kabel Deutschland or Unity Media, and yes, I know about the problems, and I can tell you how you can fix at least some of them by switching to IPv6. And those people are actually very important because they spread the word in their enterprises. It sounds completely crazy, but that's the way how it is. And if people only go to the doctor when they can't stand the pain anymore, well, we'll have to hurt them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's not as funny as it sounds, damn it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I also got one suggestion from somewhere saying lots of people don't understand the mess about the stateless and stateful auto configuration. Can you please document that so people would understand what to use and what to do? Do you think this would be maybe useful, or I don't know?
You mean deprecate the IPv6 and use Slug? Yes, let's do this. promote this slide and deprecate the IPv6, yes.
Hi. Hi. Sondel Stefan, I want to second that comment about enterprise. I think The ISP networks have already progressed a lot. I think enterprises are a big problem in all kinds of fields, and not knowing how to deal with Slack and the management, not knowing how to deal with routing, not knowing how to update their homemade software. There are many areas inside an enterprise that need help, I think.
Okay, so who would like to help with this?
And we've got a volunteer. Great.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Jan-Hugo Prins. What I think we see in big organizations like big banks and big companies is that they have always worked behind net and behind big firewalls and all that kind of stuff. And they are kind of afraid to basically open up the network because, yeah, well, they think everyone has to be public IP space, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's one of the main issues for big companies to roll out. And then one second thing, Spotify does not work on IPv6 only.
Okay, thank you.
If it was a bug report, please send me an email. Otherwise, I'll immediately forget about it. If it was bug report for V6 only network here, please report it over email, please.
Okay, Eric Ving, Cisco. Regarding the enterprise deployment, just to remind you that together with a couple of friends of us, we wrote an RFC on this, on enterprise deployment guidelines. That includes some words, at least presenting the pros and the cons on DHCP versus Slack, and about ULA, which are no magic, and NAT is not useful, and blah, 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 blah. So it's maybe not very useful to restart something here.
Maybe we can translate that into the language that people understand. Okay, thank you.
Benedict Stockwart once again on this. RFCs have some sort of reputation that they are pretty much incomprehensible to normal people in an enterprise environment. So just it being titled an RFC and not dated April 1st, whatever year, is scaring a lot of people away, no matter how much effort you put in there, especially at an enterprise level. I mean, in an ISP context, you have a lot of really top qualified people running around. At an enterprise level, you have to deal with the others sometimes. And RFCs are frequently completely, they just hear it's an RFC and they stop thinking about it. RIPE documents are slightly better, but even then we'll still have to spread the word, because RIPE is all ISPs and so on. And but if we can get something like this done and get it promoted, I think we can actually go to the one group involved where IPv6 is lagging behind after the ISPs, after the content people.
I'm glad that we actually move into the very last part of this session. So I can give you 5 more minutes to think about what you might say, because we're going to have longer discussion on this topic. And meantime, I think Natalie...
Am I dismissed?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, Jan. I'm just trying to think how shall we continue this discussion and what we have to do, right? Okay.
Thank you.
So, Natalie, welcome.